God be with you. The other night, me and my brother went to go see Superman, which is the newest superhero movie that's out. And it was actually surprisingly good. It was very wholesome, not at all kind of like the DC movies that we've gotten the last few years. It was way less dark and had like a really great, uplifting message. Now, many are watching Superman and looking at it through a political lens. Some are viewing Superman as the ultimate immigrant, right? Who comes and he serves the world as an immigrant, which I didn't really get from the movie, but I do want to look at the movie not through a political lens, but through a theological lens. So Superman is actually, I feel like, more of a symbol than an actual character. To his core, he embodies truth, justice, and the American way. Now, many American values actually originate from Christianity, right? Especially honesty and integrity, diligence. These are virtues in the traditional Christian worldview. And Superman perfectly embodies these traits through this movie. Now, in the movie, Superman faces two challenges: the hatred of the world and a self doubt in his own identity. I'm going to explore what we can learn as Catholic missionary disciples from this and how we can apply it into our lives. Stay tuned. First, I'll give an overview of the plot. The film begins with Superman, 3 years into his role as hero, being publicly humiliated and seriously injured after intervening in the geopolitical crisis. The crisis was between two fictional countries, and the aggressor is secretly working with Lex Luthor, the main villain of the movie. Superman narrowly escapes Luthor's champion and recovers in his Fortress of Solitude. While healing, his robots play the message his biological parents left him before sending him off to Earth, where they say how much they love him and how they are sending him to Earth, where he can do the most good. The message ends abruptly because it was damaged on the flight to Earth. Luthor secretly has one of his agents track Superman to his fortress and afterwards creates a massive distraction to lure him away from home. While Superman fights Luthor's enormous monster in Metropolis, Luthor and his goons invade the Fortress of Solitude to look for dirt on Superman. They kill his robots and capture his superpowered dog Krypto, and then hack into his main computer, where they find his parents' message. One of Luthor's superpowered underlings is able to decipher the message, where they find the disturbing second half of the message. After Superman defeats the distraction with the help of the Justice Gang, Luthor reveals the message on air to the whole world, where he reveals that Superman's parents actually intended for him to conquer and rule the planet, subjugating humanity and repopulating the world with Kryptonians. After hearing this, almost the whole world turns on Superman, reviling him and calling for his imprisonment. Superman ends up turning himself in, and Luthor imprisons him in a pocket dimension. Superman's love interest, Lois Lane, teams up with Mr. Terrific to break him out, and they make a daring getaway with Krypto and another imprisoned superhero. Afterwards, Superman returns home to rural Kansas to recover, where we meet his parents. Superman's dad shares with him how he isn't defined by what his biological parents wanted him to be, or by what the world thinks he is, but rather by his actions. He reminds Superman that he is a good person, and that gives him strength to keep fighting. Superman has a last climactic battle with Luthor and his allies, where he prevails and clears his name before the world. One great thing Superman displays is how we should stay strong and stay faithful in the midst of being hated by the world. Most of Earth turned against Superman the minute that misleading information came out against him. And that's the exact same thing that will happen to us when we proclaim the gospel. The world is opposed to Christ and his gospel, and by extension, all of us who share his gospel. When we face persecution for our faith, either political persecution like places in the Middle East, East Asia, or when we are hated, slandered, and harassed for sharing our faith, it can be easy to lose hope. Rejection is painful, and many Christians keep their faith secret because they are terrified of the consequences. Many of the early Christians suffered extreme backlash and persecution, but they never recanted the truth that Jesus Christ is risen and that he is Lord. We can find this same dedication in Superman. He doesn't give up on Earth when Earth gives up on him because he knows that protecting the innocent is the right thing to do, regardless of what others think of him. Just like Superman doesn't give up fighting for justice, we too should not give up when we are hated for fighting for Jesus' sake. It isn't just the external message that Superman has to fight, it's also internal doubts about his very identity. After learning that his parents were uncaring tyrants who intended for him to be the same, Superman doubts that he really is the hero that he thought himself to be. Sometimes we too can doubt who we are. Satan has a great objective in our lives, which is to make us doubt that we truly are children of God. We often put our self-value in the opinions of others, and this is a mistake that Superman also makes at the beginning of the movie. His father reminds him that he is defined by his choice to be good, not by what his Kryptonian parents intended for him. And we are not defined by what other people think of us. We're not defined by the situation that we're born into. No, we're actually defined as children of God through our baptism. And God has chosen us, and we have chosen God. That is what defines us. The Lord washes us clean of sin, and only by rejecting our gift can Satan win. This is why, like Superman, we mustn't doubt our identity. Instead, we should take joy that Jesus chose us and continue to do the right thing by living in virtue. In a world and a culture like ours, where people have forgotten that true virtue and goodness exists, Superman kind of stands out among them. Many past depictions of Superman have had him being a sort of anti-hero, a very tyrannical figure, but that's not really who he is. That's why I think it's so great that we have a superhero movie where the superhero is actually a hero who does the right thing, no matter the consequences. And I think it's a great inspiration for us all. So that's what I took from Superman. I really enjoyed the movie, and I'd love to hear what you have to think about it as Catholics down in the comments. Here are some weekly challenges to reflect on. Are you sure of your identity as a beloved child of God, or do you have doubts? And how can you entrust yourself to the Father, being a force for good in the world, like Superman was in his? With that, I hope you have a blessed day. Goodbye, and God bless you.